Well, hello there, everyone. Here, show you the graduation, speak client activity right here, and basically that what I had to do right here is some sketches right here, and basically that you see right here is I went ahead and drew some examples right here of like a graduation. And basically that I'm sure most of us have been to like a graduation ceremony before, to where you have right here is like a person speaking right here, and this right here could be example right here of like a if it's I guess auditorial or somebody like that, to where that they basically speak to where for the graduating students from that year, to where that they were to be working on, to where that they would talk for about maybe 25 minutes during the ceremony, talking about for the graduating students. And as well as you have right here is like this a place right here to where that you would be able to see the degrees usually that they would have about at least about maybe 780 of them, for all the graduating, 780 or so students. And sometimes I think from the months of May, and then maybe in December, from May and December or June, something like that, to where whenever they have a graduation ceremony, they have right here are the graduating seniors. And like a lot of one of if we were to think about what does it usually mean whenever if somebody were to be graduating on their junior year, but let's just say that you have right here is a line of seniors right here, like ready to be announced. And a lot of times that if we were to do studies right here, to where between a name and study degree and along with announcements, such as that somebody will be called, to be recognized, and then, to walk across stage just to say like that basically means to where that just like any other graduating students, to where they say that what they announce, to where the graduating seniors, to where that they usually say that well after you receive your certificate, then it basically that for all what you do, the report and responsibility for after you leave campus, after you leave ground today, that knowing that for the way for all that you do is to where that knowing to how for where you go, from that standpoint. But you have right here is an example right here of like this right here would be example right here of of say the cap and gown. And let's just say that with the graduating seniors, to where whenever they are called to be announced to receive their certificate. And one of them, it could be it's like can't think about like I'm sure a lot of students may be waiting for that type of moment, to where that they're waiting for their name to be announced, and for waiting for graduation, and thinking about like that basically means to where that you've completed the 3 years for your bachelor's, and if it was for your master's, and study for if it's going to be maybe for its psychology or German or Russian or some study like that, for the degree like that. But basically that you see right here are these examples right here of these seniors. And knowing about I'm like that I know with graduation with me though, that I'm thinking about I'm like really look forward to by graduation of 2018, to where that knowing about I'm like that for how well I do in class as well. But just thinking about I'm like for the graduation note, to where that you go to quite a few of them, and thinking that that the diplomas, to where quite a few people probably think about you never seen it before. And so it's like thinking that whenever that a lot of times for most seniors, whenever most graduation ceremonies, to where that if students were to go to them and thinking about like that a type of degree that maybe that some students that may earn, to where that look at maybe something like this. I don't know if it'll be in the same color, but it'll be like a certificate. It'll be made like either it could be mailed to them or something like that. But it would basically have like say like a real hard back right here, and then it would have to contain your information about for the completion of the course from the school as well. And thinking about I'm like that I'm sure that they say look at it as like say like if you want to look at it, maybe like kind of like a gold charm. But when seniors graduate, whenever students graduate, and just thinking about I'm like that from thinking about I'm like for you say with the speech though is like knowing for anybody who's going to be graduating and wondering that for like they say to announce the graduating seniors for by 2016, or if it's 2017 or 2018 or so on and so on, and knowing about, I'm like, that thinking about, well, the good news may be is like, you don't have to get up so early to go to class, but then on the other hand too, if it is going to be student loans, but then as well as looking for a job, to where that jobs that more likely that may take you maybe a couple of days, and as well as thinking about it, to where that what does it basically mean to whenever students walk, if they're going to be receiving a certificate, and thinking about, I'm like, that it would be, the certificate would basically be in the person's name for after they completed the course, and after they graduated, and they've earned their degree, to where they go out and get a job somewhere, and just thinking about it, to where is this one of the best times and moments to where that after a student has been out of school for about maybe 5 years or so, and they're thinking about that really about the type of degree that more likely they could get, and thinking about really, is there any such thing, but thinking that you got to complete these courses. But I could tell anybody here with most seniors, to where if it's going to be a junior, senior, sophomore, thinking about, I'm like, that I'm sure most of us are pretty proud, but then on their hand, they're thinking about, I'm like, really, that I guess say that the work is not that bad, I guess, compared to sometimes to out of the quarters of the semester, to where that whenever, if due to graduation, to where that we may think that we have to take at least maybe 30 classes just to be able to complete the course, that type of stuff. But you have right here, as I went through an example right here of a speaker, to where they would say call the person's name, and then they will be announced to walk across the stage, or it's like to be honored by psychology or sociology, or if it's somebody's name, and such as chemistry, and then such as Spanish, or the social, or if it's going to be anything such as that if it's German, or if it's I know that more likely that they have, I would say, maybe at least 120 or so degrees, so majors. So I'm sure most students would say whenever they walk across the stage and thinking about, I'm like, exactly, to where that you walk across the stage, and then you're like one that remembering about the person's name, and as for what their walk across stage to be recognized for, and just thinking about, I'm like, with all these students down here, and then the ones that are being honored to be announced for graduation, and knowing about, I'm like, really, is that something to be proud of, to where that a student that were to walk across the stage, and then to receive their the degree. And the way I think about it, though, is really, I'm like, that's really like the only time that you would get maybe the most type of attention, really. But let's just say right here, working right here is with the pencil right here, to where I'm like, you have a person's name right here, and then it's like your name, and then knowing that, I'm like, but then the person right here is say, for the person speaking, I guess if there's a like particular name for those people, but if we have right here is like I don't know if you call it maybe the sermon or somebody, but anyway, the person who speaks is before any we receive our degrees, that knowing about that that basically that they are the school is leaving the student responsible for after they leave there the school, to where that they to where they go out for all what they do is just say keep that keep that passion. But it's just I guess I basically said to understand that, knowing that with the type of a degree, to where that they say, really, if some students that may think about, like, really, that the degree is not a coupon, to where you can go out and just use it, and then it's like, I guess if I don't know, there may be some students that may say that I don't look at it as a coupon, and never was really considered a coupon, but basically that degree, to where they say that really does a degree expire, to where they say that no, it don't, but then on your hand that if it's possible, to where there maybe need to be some changes and maybe some upgrades as well, but the way I think about that was most of the time with graduating seniors, to where whenever they're announced, they'll walk across the stage. You have about two of them. You know, the announcer right here, and then you have right here is the speaker, and then the announcer right here, to where they say that. That they call the student, and then with the students, like their type of a degree that for what they're graduating for, and to receive their certificate. And I'm sure most students would more likely think that I kept thinking about this time in a moment, to where that anybody would probably say, you want to hear your voice, and think about if like maybe to speak out for the graduating seniors for the year 2017, 2018 as well. But I'm like, that I keep thinking about that. Well, really, is that type of job really for any volunteers, or is it mainly for the personnel who are working there at the school and the community, to where they call the names and then they call announce for the graduating seniors? So it's like, in a lot of ways, I'm like, well, that they got somebody to do that. You just got to make sure that you got your cap and gowns ready, and then you're ready to be walk across stage. But I'm sure to get your diploma. But let's just say that on average, though, to where they with the students, though, to be honored, is that really, I'm like, it seemed like graduation would be like, which calls like one of the most important. It's like, it means a lot to a lot of people that they're thinking about. I'm like, one of the most things that they look forward to. I'm like, if you say between that and maybe a wedding, maybe it's a little bit different story, huh? But on the other hand, that knowing about understanding about, it's like for the graduation speak, to where that for anybody who's going to be graduating is just thinking about that, they would more likely say about the same thing, to where that after you leave campus today, that knowing about the important responsibility for everything that you do, to where it's like use that to where that go out and find work, and then for after you leave there, maybe if you get transferred to another university somewhere like that, and thinking about that for anything, for all what we do, is that thinking that there's still a lot more work to do. So other than that, like talk about here, that type of work more likely would be, it's like for you being a student after you complete your courses, and then off to knowing that for the next the next important priority. So the next important task is to whenever you go find work, is that knowing about what you got to do as well for the next jobs. But anyway, but you got right there is talk about here is talk to say for the graduation speaker activity.